Amanda Crow.
Becky Sloviter.
Welcome to General Meeting with Becky Sloviter, a new podcast. First of all, thank you.
Yeah.
You are such a good friend. It's hard to put into words how vulnerable it feels to, as I keep joking to everybody, like longtime listener, first time podcaster. So I wanted the first episode to be not just with someone who I am close with and feel really comfortable with. I want this to be very authentic and not overly rehearsed. And then like 3 minutes ago before we were starting, I was like, how am I even introducing? Like, I haven't prepared enough for
I
this.
need to
Like,
rehearse.
Correct.
It's honestly like I'm honored to be the first guest that you trusted me, but I'm also just like so excited for you. And when I was
Thank
texting you,
you.
it was just like living out loud, like taking a
Trying.
leap. Like I think this is it's inspiring to me, and so I'm
you.
so excited to see you in your new element.
Oh my God, here goes nothing. I do, because this is the first episode, I want to take a second for the people listening and for the people watching. I was advised that podcasts now have to be, not have to be, but like, okay, if you're serious about doing a podcast, it needs to be on video. And I was like, this is a face for radio. Like, what are we doing?
Not
here?
true.
So,
Not true.
thank
Not
you so
true.
much. So I was like, okay, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. And also, as my hero Brene Brown would say, when you're doing something for the FFT the first fucking time, it's wobbly.
Does she say the
Yeah,
FFT?
she does.
I
That's
love
her
that
term,
for the
FFT.
FFT.
I heard her say that on a podcast at the start of the pandemic. We'll get to that. We'll get to what the pandemic did to us in a moment. But I heard her say that and I was like, yes, FFT. I'll like mutter that to myself sometimes. I'm like, well, it's an FFT. So like, of course it's wobbly. Okay.
I
onward.
love that.
So anyway, I'm trying to bring, as I was saying to Matt right before this, my husband, like, I'm trying to just bring my full self to this, warts and all, and like, we're going to find it. Okay. So the impetus for this came to me just as I was leaving Miramax. So 6 months ago, I left. I was the president of
God, has it
Miramax.
been 6 months?
I know. It's
That's
wild.
wild.
I agree. It's like both blink of an eye and also feels like 97 million years ago. So I was leaving Miramax. I had a very brief stint as the president of Miramax. As I keep saying to everyone, I'm like, sounds fake, right? It's real, but not for me. I am such a producer in my bones, and I'm just not a studio executive. And it was as my friend said, a very amicable uncoupling. So I came up with this idea as I was leaving Miramax, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to my company and producing, still in post on the movie that you were kind enough to come up and do a few days on last spring, called Let's Have Kids. We'll get to that in a moment. But I was just thinking, okay, what do I really want to do? The one thing that I always loved in the 23 years I've been working in this business is the general meeting. And for those of us not in the business, a general meeting is a one-on-one. Actor, writer, director is typically through their reps sent to meet with a producer, a studio executive, sort of whoever's on the other side, I'll say. And in a way of, you guys just get to know each other. Maybe you're going to figure out some things to work on. You should know her. She's amazing. He just wrapped doing this. They're doing this, whatever it is. So no matter what job I had, and my career has been such a long and winding road, if I was working at a production company, if I was working for myself, if I was a studio executive, whatever, I just always loved the general meeting. And it is really not hyperbolic to say, and you are included in this, I have met some of my closest friends in general meetings.
I love that.
Only in deciding to do this and then reaching out to friends to come and be guests, did I realize, and I'm curious if this is the case for you, a lot of actors, writers, filmmakers hate general meetings. It was like a dirty secret that I didn't know.
I feel like my favorite thing everyone hates.
Truly. We ran into a friend at the Pixies concert a couple weeks ago, and he and Matt and I were sort of riffing. And what we came to is it's like a first date and a job interview combined, but not stressful.
Yes.
However, the stressful, maybe it is stressful. The more people I've talked to, I'm curious, have you had horrible general meeting experiences?
No, I would say that for the most part, mine have actually been pretty good. Most are like neutral. And then there's been the surprise ones where you're like, I really like that person.
Yeah.
When I first moved to LA, I was 21. And so I had a lot of generals when I first came here. And like looking back, I realized this like later in life, but I was like, oh, I had this general with this guy. And then he reached out to my reps being like, oh, I wanted to get Amanda's email because we talked about some movies. And they were like, is it okay? And I was like, yeah, that seems like a great idea. Like, why wouldn't we want me to correspond with this guy who's an executive?
Cut to,
I'm on a date.
I was going to say,
I fled the scene. I was just like, I have to go. So that can also happen on generals.
Totally.
But, you know, that was like, you know, 2010. It was a different time.
Yes. Yes, it was in so many ways. As I've been reaching out to people, telling them about this and asking them to come and be guests, I've been just distilling it down to, it's like the format of a regular general meeting, which often starts with a bit of the biography, right?
Yeah,
like, where
yeah.
are you from? How'd you get into whatever the career is? Acting, writing, directing, etc. The interesting thing about doing this podcast is the essence of a general meeting is we've never met before.
Right.
Except you and I are very close,
Yes.
first of all. A lot of the guests I'm going to have on, certainly at the start of this, are people I know really well. So you are from the greatest country one can be from. You are Canadian. Yes.
I am Canadian.
As is your sweet husband, who we will get to in a moment.
Yes.
Okay. So you're born in Langley.
Yes.
Which is a suburb of Vancouver.
Yeah, it's like an hour outside of Vancouver.
Did you always know you wanted to be an actor?
I knew it at a young age, but my reasonings why, like, this has been so much of my therapy is undoing the trauma bond I have with acting, because I didn't know it at the time, but like I really liked performing and acting, but a lot of it was because of the validation. But I didn't know that at the time.
Right, of course. You were like, this feels good.
Wow, I feel amazing. Give it more, give it more. And so I think, like, I definitely knew at a young age I wanted to be an actor, but I think that reason was from a very young place of like, I saw actors on TV and in movies, and then they're in magazines and everyone's celebrating them and they want to be them. And I'm like, oh, all of this shame I feel inside of me, it seems like if I do that, it just goes away.
Yes.
And so
let's get more of that.
Thus began a codependent toxic relationship with acting.
Oh my God.
That I had to unpack later in life.
And is still in process.
Yes.
Yes.
A doozy. A doozy.
Goddamn, is it a journey?
Yeah. And it's got me in its thick grip, you know. I still want it bad.
Yes.
But yeah, from a young age though, I really did, like, I just loved movies and the escape that it gave me. And then when I started like doing school plays, had that experience. Like, I remember my first real school play, when we finished, I like, everyone went home and I was like on such a high that it's so wild, but like, I was 16 and I was like, I need to be around people. And I went to McDonald's to be around people, just because I was so high.
You're like vibrating.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, you know, and thus the addiction began. Yeah. Me and my McFlurry, like, I was in a play.
Hey, everyone.
I'm a star.
It's funny, as I was having my quick panic, and last night my quick panic of like, have I prepared enough for this? Like, always over prepared, but also, and because you and I don't think we've ever had a lunch or a dinner that's less than 2 hours. And always, like, I'm setting an alarm because I'm like, okay, I got to go get the kids. But like, I'm really, we got to get into it.
We have follow-up
like, you
texts,
and I
like,
go deep. Yes,
here's the podcast I told you about. Here's the
podcast.
book.
Here's the audiobook. You can get it on Audible, but like, she's a little annoying when she reads it. So like, you might want to get the hardcover here. Also, we have a mutual hairdresser, thanks to you. We need to talk about you shaving your head for the movie you just did. So we will get to that.
So many pinned conversations.
Exactly. this is me always catching up with my best friend Amy because she lives in Philadelphia in near the town we grew up in, and we will go on these. We've been taking trips lately where we'll have like long rides in the car. And so we keep agendas of like how to catch up
I love
on.
it.
I mean, we text a million times a day and are constantly talking, but also like need to go deep. So we recently went to Vegas to see Chelsea Handler, to see her show. And the agenda, we had 5 hours each way and we barely got through the agenda by the end of the week.
I love an agenda.
Girl, my notes app is my best friend. I would
Yes.
be
Are you-
non-functional without it.
Do you have Virgo in your chart? Do you know?
I am going to really out myself here as an astrology, I'm astrology challenged. I'm astrologically, I know I'm a
I think that's a good
Sagittarius.
out. Like, no one wants to be like, I'm super into astrology right now. Like, I hate that I even asked.
Like,
So I love that you don't know.
It's funny. I have some shame around it. Like, I know I'm a Sagittarius and that's all
I
I
have
know.
shame that I asked. So,
Although we've been in LA so long, I'm like, how have I gotten away with this?
oh, I love that you have.
And I would be into it. Like, it is very me.
yeah,
I
you
just
get it
happen
enough.
to.
You know, I don't need any more.
It's a miracle I knew what you meant when you said Virgo. You know what I mean? Okay, anyway, in our conversations, and I think even from the first conversation we ever had, which just went like immediately very deep,
Yes.
we talk about the tricky relationship
Hmm.
that we have with having careers in Hollywood.
Yes.
Right? And it is interesting. And I think so much of the work, as any good therapist would say, is bringing awareness to it, right? Just bringing awareness to there is an inherently unhealthy aspect that I don't know that you can make peace with.
I have hope that I can make peace with it. And I've had glimpses of it only because I've been
Say more.
literally working on it since 2017 nonstop.
I can attest to this as your friend, like working on it.
Yeah.
Like doing
It's my
the
mission.
work.
Because in 2017, that's when my dark night of the soul began. Where kind of the ruse that I'm kind of like, it's fine.
You were
like
still on Silicon Valley at this point,
Yeah.
right? Because that show ran from 2014 to 2019.
19, yeah.
Okay, got
And
it.
so 2017 was basically, yeah, like we're most of the way through the show, like 4-5 years in.
Yeah.
It's a super successful show. It's Emmy nominated.
Yes.
I've like all of the goals of my younger self who dreamed of making it in Hollywood. Like so many of that was like, check, check, check.
Yes.
You got the money, you got the show.
You've started movies at this point.
I've got a house.
Yes.
I have a partner. Like I have all of these things that I've been told, like, once you have these things, you're going to be
good.
You're going to be happy. You're going to be good. And that childhood dream of like, once I get that, then I'll be free of this shame. Like I didn't know that consciously, but like
Yes.
that's the thing. It's like, once I get that, then I won't feel bad about myself.
Yep.
And I felt like shit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I was just trying to like get out of this feeling and like tap dancing my way through. And it was like 2017 where it just kind of like, I couldn't pretend anymore. It was just like, I could see down the road of like, oh, well, I'm not the lead of this show. So once I'm the lead of a show,
Yeah.
then, and like that you could keep kicking this down this road, but like,
Yep.
I couldn't deny that what was happening. And because that's just my personality. It's like it's so hard.
it's
And
so
like,
hard.
I was lucky to find a therapist who was just so like, I'm still working with her. She's incredible. And we started working together, and like the big question in the room that I wouldn't even look at for like, it was just like, I couldn't even like acknowledge the question, which was, so if you're not going to pursue acting from a place of like, it'll fix me of these things, do you even want to act anymore? Like if that's not allowed to be like your motivator anymore because you see the ruse in that, like do you actually want to pursue this? And that question terrified me because I knew that once I actually asked myself that, the answer could be no. The first year we were working together, it was me just trying to like figure out how to like okay, it doesn't work that way, but I'll make it work this way. Like,
Yes. Well, and also I'm curious if this resonates for you because this is, I mean, I'm 47 years old and I still think this all the time. I'm like, it's me. Like I mean, Tay, I will quote her all day long. I'm the problem, it's me. But also just in a like, well, I must just be doing it wrong.
I actually had this conversation with Dustin once because I was really struggling and I was just like, have you ever like, I can't even remember what it was about, but I was like, have you ever felt this way? And he was like, well, yeah, like I've felt insecure about that or whatever, but I don't walk around the world thinking that I've done something wrong.
Right. Or that you're about to get in trouble.
It's so
It's
true.
so
And
true. Also, that must be nice.
that was my other, I was just like, wow, good for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
Because all I do is think that I've done something wrong.
I was just talking about with my cousin Sarah, who's like my sister. I've been walking around realizing I'm worried I'm going to get in trouble for being unprepared, except I'm in charge of this. Like there
I'm
is
the
no
boss.
boss. It's me.
But we know that our internal boss is the worst boss of them all.
She's a nightmare, first of all. She's a fucking tyrant. But I think that's so relatable.
I mean, that's what we've been programmed since the day we could like bring in a thought.
Shall I grab Daring Greatly or shall I grab any of Brene Brown's other books to go so deep on this subject?
No,
but it's true.
It's in us. So
it's rampant.
I had this like breakthrough moment like 2 years ago. We were cleaning out our basement because we were going to finish it. And we had like all of our mementos, all of these bins. And we're just like getting rid of so much stuff because it was rat infested. But I had all of my journals. Like I'm a journaler. I've journaled my entire life. And so there was
I admire that. I can't do it.
So many journals, you know? And so I'm just kind of like flipping through all these journals.
Oh.
And it was just like years and years and years of asking the same fucking questions, but just worded differently.
Yes.
And I was just like, I just remember sitting there being like, I've wasted so much like, time attacking myself and wondering what's wrong with me and why do I do this and why am I the problem? And I was just like, I was just like sitting in my pile of like shame and it was so confronting because I was just like,
well, it's tangible there. Did you like carry those into therapy?
No, I didn't carry them. And we were on a break at that point because I took a pause.
We were on a break.
Bambi needed to test out her legs.
We've talked about that too, though. I do think that's great also.
So important.
Like
you got to metabolize it.
Yes. What did that propel you toward?
It had been a growing thing with me where I was also like, I literally had to call myself out on, I think I'm addicted to self-help books. Like, and that's funny, but also like it was real.
But it's real.
I can't remember what started it. Oh, because I was reading a new book that's going to save me.
Yep.
And it's, as I started reading it, Dustin was just like, we were on a plane and we started the flight and I was like, yeah. And I started reading my book. And then at the end, I was like, really in a pissy mood.
I was just going to say, a lot of anger has gotten in touch with during that flight.
He's like, what happened?
What's up?
And I'm so grateful for him for like, 'cause I wouldn't even clocked it.
He's the fucking best. We're going to give him his roses in a moment.
Oh my God. But like, he's like, what happened in the course of that flight? Because you start out really happy and you're not now. And I'm like looking at this book on shame. And I'm like,
I was just going to say, The Shame Excavated.
It literally was a book about shame. And I was like, oh, the books are not helping. And but I told him, I was like, I think I need to like put a pause on reading these. But after I finished
exactly. But I am a completist, and an A student. So I'm going to still over to the assignment real quick. And then I'm going to be A+ at not.
Yes. And but it really,
that's a really interesting realization.
And no, because the moment that it really hit me was when I was just like, but I want to finish this one. And he was like, maybe we don't have to finish it right now. God. And I just had this vision of myself like clutching my books like it was alcohol or drugs. And I was like, oh no, like you are like it terrified me, the idea of giving up the books.
So yes.
And I gave them up for a year and wow.
Right? Well,
and now I have a better relationship with it.
Exactly. And it's same with therapy, we've talked a lot about this, social media. I mean, we won't go down this rabbit
I'm on a
hole.
break right now.
Yeah, you are. But it's funny, just as a quick aside, in wanting to do this podcast, I was like, but I don't want it to be depressing, but I do want it to be real, right? And it is like,
Good luck.
exactly, like it is 2025 and
The world
but
is burning, but
I-
like also like let's have a good time.
but like but that exactly. Like as my favorite SNL sketch would say, smoke 'em if you got 'em. Bronx beat. Like there's life is short.
Yeah.
We are every day, it's an onslaught of terrible shit. And to find that balance of not looking away, but also finding your pleasures where you can. And for me, really, and like I'm gonna bring it right back, good segue, is wanting to just connect one-on-one, reconnect. I'm gonna do a thing at the end that I'm gonna call last looks of like some rapid fire questions that I'm gonna do. Exactly, last looks, some fun things that remind us like the art in the world is here to save us.
Yes.
But then also 2023 in this town. And that was 2 strikes.
Yeah.
Actor strike, writer strike. Which whatever your vantage point of that is or was or your feelings, it was a time of just work stoppage. At first it was just writers, then it was writers and actors starting in early July. So, and then it was like the summer months wearing on into fall. And then the writer's strike resolved in September and the actors in November. Okay. We are human beings who want to be in control and, have things that are predictable. And that's just also not how life works. Okay. So as an actor, how do you keep your sanity with that?
I think before my dark night of the soul, it was really like I was insatiable and very insecure the whole time. Like it's just like no job ever satisfied it. And then when I'm not working, I was like panicking and so insecure.
Yes.
There is this like unhealthy thing for actors where like we're supposed to like I think this is going away, but like definitely in the time that I was coming up, it's like to present yourself as like the inspiration and the like you're perfect and things don't
it's all good.
Yeah, and if you did go through something, like tell us about it when you're on the other side and like brand that, and so I think we're not supposed, I think this was what was great about the strikes was people really pulling back the curtains. It was just like, oh, if I want to keep doing this, I better figure out a way where this is more enjoyable for me. And I like that was what the therapy was. And so the reason why I'm saying that is like I've been like working through this in therapy, and then Silicon ended basically the end of 2019.
Okay, so right before
the pandemic.
Ooh,
and so I'm still, this is the journey, so I'm like, okay, I now know, like, I've asked the question, do I still want to act? And not from like my ego, like, and my pain, like, do I like love the craft? And I've answered that. And like, I do. And I have actually like a really newfound sense of like purpose and drive with this. And so I'm coming off of this show and I'm ready to get my next one. And secretly in the back of my brain, I'm like, and like, let's get like something amazing and like really show them what I can do. Like, that's the secret thing in there. It's just like, I've got this new purpose and like new why, but then secretly I'm still trying to get that thing, but just in a different way, and it's going to be different this time.
Totally.
And I feel like the universe was like, not today, sister. Like, no. And so it was just like I got to audition a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then the pandemic hit, and so it's just like crickets. And what happened in this dark period, which I'll call from 2020 to like, it was dark 2017 to
7 minutes ago,
2019.
Right? Oh my
that
God.
was dark, but I was still being kind of like fed the like, but you still get these servings of like, you're on a show and you got money. Yeah.
Yep.
But then it was all taken away, not taken away, but like it was over. And I was no longer, it was the weird, like me and Dustin still talk about it, is like, it was spooky how like things for me personally changed overnight. I was telling one of your guys about it, was just like, it's hard being in a relationship with someone in the industry. It's both positive and negative. Negative's not the right word, but it's like,
There are challenges.
yes.
Yeah.
And so like we were all going through this shift of the pandemic, and the effects it had on the industry, and everyone's kind of feeling that. But like there was a certain blow that I experienced that like he wasn't experiencing, and things were,
Yeah.
they shifted for him, but he was also doing really well. And I was
He was on, was Schitt's Creek airing at the time, or
it
had
was
it gone
just
to Netflix,
finishing
and so it was
up,
sort
but
of
it was blowing up there
exploding?
too.
Right.
And then he
Okay.
was on another show
Yep.
that he booked right after Rutherford Falls, and
Yep.
like, but then
Love that
also
show.
just kind of like I'm getting to see directly like offers that come in for him. I'm taping with him and then seeing the callbacks come in. Nothing. Like I'm saying nothing
Right.
was happening on my
Not
side.
exact. It's not like a couple things.
No, it was
Yeah.
like
That's brutal.
it was brutal, and it was so, and he's the best because he can
yes.
really hold that space where I'm happy for him, but also triggered by what's happening. And I think
Yes.
that's
Can't
the
help but be.
taboo thing to say.
Yep.
But I have, I'm so lucky to have someone who like is able to like hold space for that.
There are very few males who are as evolved as Dustin Milligan. Let's just,
I don't,
we can weave
like-
in his roses here. I mean, he is the nicest person. He is so unbelievably smart and kind. But he's also, as we say, he contains multitudes. Like, Dustin is like one of the more interesting human beings you'll ever have a
Yeah.
conversation with. Also, I can't wait to have him on the
yes.
pod. And just such a like, he's such a good dude. He's such a
Yes.
like lover of women.
Yes.
So
He
anyway.
loves a woman.
I need to rephrase
That guy loves a
I
woman.
feel the same way
And
about
that
my
makes-
husband now. He's like, he has a good mom, he has a good sister.
Yeah, same
He's-
with Dustin. He's got
exactly.
a lot of great women
And you
friends.
can just
Yeah.
see that
Yeah.
with some dudes. So
Yeah.
anyway.
But what I was gonna say is that like to paint that picture of just like nothing's working for me, like it's like just, and things that worked like effortlessly before
Yeah.
are no longer, it did not make sense to me. And I look back and I'm like, the universe really was just kind of like, you want to like get this new relationship with your career, we're gonna remove it all, so you are forced to face all of your fucking demons without getting fed like a little like dopamine hit, a little validation. It's just like, if you want to like learn how to source that from yourself, we're gonna have to wipe this like clean.
Which in hindsight, I imagine you have some gratitude that happened. However,
Would not wish it.
wouldn't wish it on your worst enemy, right? Like that is as painful as it gets.
It and it's every actor's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
That's why it's called The Dark Night of the Soul, because
Yeah.
it's just like nothing that made sense and worked for you like works anymore.
Nope.
And there's no rhyme or reason to it either. It's like you can't, it's just like everything's being pulled from you. And I do feel like, not to be the woo girl, as I'm like, what's your horoscope? But I do like, I don't like to give it all out, like this power out there, like, oh, the universe conspired. Like, I hate that language. And also, it's like an and also, because I don't like to be, I've had to really reframe that stuff because it's become so pop culture and has actually been harmful to me, because it makes me feel like I'm being punished by the universe and that's why this is happening. Or I did something
another
wrong.
shame piece, right?
Nothing's working. And that it was just like, this feels like actually like something is greater than me is like working.
Yes.
It's like there's something working through me to cleanse me of it.
Yes.
But in like the most painful way ever. And like, I'm also into tarot. And the Tower card is very much about that. Like, it's like an event that happens that like structures in your life fall away. Like things that were like holding your life
interesting.
together are falling away. And that was very much what I was experiencing, was just like,
yeah.
I used to, it's not like I was like so in demand, but there was a certain cadence to
for
work
sure.
and like offers and callbacks.
And you're on a hit TV show. And again, you're number one on the call sheet in a lot of movies you're doing. Like, yes.
Yes. But then all of that kind of stopped. And it was just such a disorienting and confusing experience, because I'm seeing other actors not have that experience. So I'm like, yes, it's the pandemic, but also no.
Yes, and you're seeing the one you live with having a different experience. So that's
Yes.
also, you can, I mean, again, the things we tell ourselves we want to believe sometimes, and it's, well, that's this. I mean, comparison is the enemy of happiness, as we
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
But you couldn't help
That's
but
like your
be really
barometer,
confronted.
you
Yeah,
know,
it's
just like
it is.
I could
Exactly.
like maybe push it away if like I was seeing that happening to him, but like I wasn't.
Yeah.
I did start like things started to kind of I started to kind of integrate some of the lessons, but there was still more falling apart. Like I got dropped by my agents. Another thing we're not supposed to say.
Yeah,
as actors.
exactly.
Just like
We're
don't say
talking
that.
about it all. No,
But
this
it was
is what we want here.
It was all part like I look back at that, and even when that happened, I was more kind of coming on the other side of things. And so when that happened, it was just like the circumstances. Like my agent got laid off, and so then it was just like you don't really have a place
Totally.
here anymore.
And it ended up being really fantastic.
That's what
Yes.
and I look, and there was a weird knowing of that even when it happened.
Yeah.
It was still sad because it was an ending.
Yeah.
But I also had this kind of deep knowing while it was happening, like this needed to happen. Like with
100%.
everything that, like, listen, if the tower's gonna rip it down,
Right.
like let's rip it all
We got
down.
that fucking
We're not
tower
gonna
card.
half-ass it.
No.
Like let's
Correct.
fully clean the fucking house.
Even in our breakdown, and we're gonna come out the other side. We're gonna do it in an A+ way.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do it like perfectly.
I will. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was 2022-ish?
2020, yeah, 2022, 2023.
Okay, right. So
Yes.
then it goes right into the strikes.
Yeah, yes. This is the interesting part. So that happened that happened before the strikes.
Yes.
And then to answer your question, wow, it was like from 20 minutes ago. But you're
We're
such a
gonna
pro
tackle this?
at holding the thread. But
I hope.
But how I dealt with the strikes is actually the strike was, yes, terrifying and like not like was awful. And also it was a relief to me
Interesting. Say more.
because I, much like the kind of obsessing about fixing myself and too much emphasis on that and how like it was distorting my perception of myself.
Yeah.
It was like trying to figure out my relationship with my career and then also just kind of like trying and just getting knocked down to have it just like
Yep.
was such a relief. And I was like, like I can have like a life outside of this right now. Like,
yes.
But we made a pact with each other that like we were gonna like show up to the picket lines and do all that. We had like been really like trying to get the word out about voting. So we had been doing our activism there.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we'll show up to the picket lines, but like also like two actors in a house, like it's like we could never go on vacation. We could never like you're just tied to this industry. And so we were like, let's make this summer about like us.
Totally.
And that was the cleaning of the basement.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
and looking at the journals. But it was just kind of like, let's just like focus on us, and which again felt so bad.
I know.
You know?
Like selfish.
Yes.
Or
even though we were
God
still
forbid you prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
And also
but
two
revolutionary
strikes.
for me. Like it like learning how
The
to
permission.
so big, so big. And that was kind of like, it was again another piece where divine intervention for helping heal my relationship with my career.
Yeah.
The timing of that, like when else would I have gotten an opportunity to just like put a fucking timeout on this thing
Yes.
and reset.
Yes.
And then when we came back, because it was the best summer of my life. Like my health had never been better. Like I was
and then you were like, this is telling me something.
the
right?
minute we came back, it's just like the anxiety, like the oh, I gotta put something on tape, and like the panic and everything. And so I had this kind of place to compare of like how I could feel.
Yes.
And trying to bring that in.
Well, and like you can't, for lack of a better way to put it, you can't unsee that.
So
and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's just like,
Ultimately,
oh,
it's a
that
good thing.
exists for me.
Right.
So it's me.
Right.
I'm the problem.
Thank you, JJ.
I think the big thing for me was learning how to, like, this toxic relationship with my industry was like, it was this thing outside of me that would give me like self-worth.
Yeah.
And give me like finally I could like love myself and like be like all the things that have happened to me would be removed. And it's like all of this healing, I hate that, my healing journey, but was like learning how to source that personal validation, that self-worth and that confidence coming from like genuinely coming from here and not a sneaky one over here.
No, totally.
And not outsourcing it, which was the hardest work
of your life.
And still true. Absolutely in process, but like I can now like, you know, I did this movie earlier this year and
this was the one you shaved your head for?
Yes. Okay. And it was like kind of like my opportunity to really put it to the test, like all this work I done, like let's see how we really feel.
Yes.
And it was just like such a life-changing experience.
It was the best experience of your career.
It was.
Right?
And it because of how I was experiencing it within me.
Can you talk about that movie? Are you able to talk about why you had to shave your head and what was that experience like for you?
Yeah.
Because that's the whole thing.
Yes.
You have, I mean, I go to your hairdresser, who I'll call my hairdresser as well, because you have the most amazing hair. And we were at lunch one day years ago and I was like, who do you go to? Like, I can't get it right. So anyway, tell us about the movie. Tell us about shaving your head.
So there's certain parts that I can't talk about, but like what I can say is that it's a follow-up to a movie that I did in 2017 called Freaks.
Okay.
And so it's a follow-up, but it's like it's a standalone movie also.
Yep.
That movie was really like a really special filming experience because the two directors, Adam Stein and Zach Lipovsky, like they were just I had such a great time working with them. But that movie somehow found like a cult following.
Yeah.
I've never heard of an indie movie having like a follow-up movie. Like it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, totally.
And what's interesting was that we were supposed to film this movie in 2022.
I remember.
Or 2023. But it was,
yes,
it was 2023.
Yes. And then it was like, the fucking strikes.
Well, the day that I found out that my agent got laid off was the day that the directors of the sequel called me up and were just like, hey, good news, bad news.
Oh my God.
They booked Final Destination 5. Or is that what number it is?
The one that just came out.
The one that just came out and blew up the fucking box office. Like they like crushed it. But like huge for them. You know what I mean? They got this studio movie.
Yes.
Huge.
Can't turn it down.
Cannot turn that down.
Green lights are miracles. Getting anything made is a miracle. Getting it released, we'll talk about that momentarily, is a miracle.
Yes. But I was so genuinely so happy for them.
Yeah.
But I was just like, there's no way we're going to film this. Like, it's just not going to happen.
So did you release it to some degree? You were like, I'm not.
Well, I was in a purge, right? Like, I was being shed from my agency. And then the one job, like I hadn't worked in like 2 years, like nothing, had not worked at all. Like lost the health insurance, but thankfully like privileged to marry someone who did have health insurance. But like it was one of those moments where I was just like, again, this is the worst. I was devastated.
Yeah.
But it did feel like, all right, for whatever reason, this is happening. Like all I could do was like surrender to it. And like that week was like such a turning moment week because it was like,
it's funny how that happens, isn't it? Like all things at once.
Because also me and Dustin had like a breakthrough conversation too that week where like this kind of,
it's like the energy. Wow.
Because the kind of me being triggered by his success was, which he held an immense amount of space for.
He's the greatest. Have we mentioned?
Like just so much, but like there's only so much one man can hold.
Right.
And we had to have like a really like honest conversation where he had to do one of those like, I'm gonna hold the mirror up to you. And it was like, you would think like on paper, like, oh no, this is not the time because she's experienced 2 blows this week.
Let's not kick her when she's down.
And there was a 3rd blow that week that I will if I give a single detail, it will kind of like out people, but like another industry blow. So just picture like 3 blows. And then he's just like, I gotta it's,
Yep.
I'm sorry, but I have to.
Which in a way,
It was
the best
It was
timing
the
for that,
greatest
right?
gift. And he still to this day says like the way that you responded to that is something like, I don't know if any, like, not to toot my own horn, but
No,
like I
toot it.
took it.
And he knew, I think, because this is, again, you guys have such a special, connected, deep relationship. I think he knew he was doing it in such a loving, safe
Absolutely.
way,
Absolutely.
and also knew it was necessary, right, for your growth as a couple.
And I think there was something in me that just knew like, let's do it. And like when he had that like mirror holding
Yeah.
moment, it was like that thing that like broke me, that like got out like what this was really about.
Yes.
And it sounds so simple because it's not about the words, it's about like the feeling, that
yeah.
unleashed. But like I just was like, I was sobbing and I was just like, I just feel worthless. Like I feel so worthless. I don't know, like I have nothing.
what
Who
is
am I?
my
What, like
worth?
I'm like I feel like I don't even know what the word is for like deep badness. Like
Yes.
just like
Ugh.
I feel just, and nothing, like all the things that used to take that away are like not working anymore, and like, and nothing is being given to me, and I'm just like sitting in like my badness.
Yes, and misery.
And it's like by having that kind of breakdown, it was just kind of like really confronting of like, oh, like this, like I didn't know how deep that
Yes.
ran, even though like I knew, but like again, it's one of those experiences where like it's less about like what you're saying and like the feeling you're connecting with, and it's like that
Yes.
thing that like you're pushing to the side. It's just like that shame, that like worthlessness, that like not good enough feeling that runs way deeper than the industry. It's the industry's
Yes.
just like the
Yes.
mirage in front of it.
Totally.
It like, this is like childhood stuff. This is also just kind of like, I've never not known this feeling. Like this has just always been there, but like I don't want to feel this way anymore.
Correct.
And that nothing outside of me is going to, like, only I can alleviate this, and it's not through accomplishing.
No.
It's not through achieving.
No.
It's not through acquiring. It's not through like any accolades. It's like me. Like I have to give this to myself. And that is like, I mean, that sounds like an impossible ask. And like how, and like no therapist can be like, here's the 1, 2, 3.
Exactly. Here's your checklist, and
which is
come
all
see
I
when you're
want.
done. But no, there is no guidebook. There is no rulebook. But don't you feel that that moment of, as we commonly call it, rock bottom, or whatever you want to call it, is essential in the building back up? Like you actually
You can't do it.
circumvent
And
that.
I look back and I'm like, oh, you like, it had been building to this this whole time. And I look back at certain other rock bottoms where it's just kind of like you dip into it, but like I had an eating disorder. You would think that rock bottom would have like catapulted this.
Yeah.
But like I was in my early 20s. Like the healing was more about the disorder and not what was underneath the disorder.
Completely.
The disorder was shame.
Yes.
But I wasn't like healing the shame. I was like, I got to stop restricting food and over-exercising.
This is also the journey, I feel, not even to put an age stuff on it. I'm much older than you, but like, this is the fact that like you're not even 40 and you have like gone so inward to do so much healing and work is like, I'm so excited for your 40s, because 40s, even if you haven't done some of that work, like it's coming for you. It's like a let's live out loud to some degree.
I think this is like the first year that I'm like seeing the fruits of the labor. Like I've like put in the work, and like also like well, forever the work is never done. I just always saying that because I hate a narrative of like, and then I was fixed. Like, no, I still have hard days. I still get tripped up by this shit. Like it's always a work in progress.
Yes.
But like, I don't feel so much of that. Like shame is not driving me daily. She still shows up, but like it's not driving my decisions. And I think that's what shifted. And that was why the movie also was such a different experience, because I wasn't operating from a place of fear of
Yes.
like, this
Yes.
needs to be this thing. And I have to like do, and like,
No,
and
you're not hustling for your worthiness, Brene Brown. You are solid, right?
Yes.
And even if you know that foundation, that solidity can be even more solid the next time, whatever, it was notable, right?
It was, yes, it was like I was like, oh, I didn't know you could just experience it this way. Like, you know, you have a scene where you're just like, I don't know if that really went, like, was that bad? And like old me would spiral about that and replay it. And the whole ride home, I'm like, why didn't I do this? And blah, blah, blah. And I would just like, I'd have the thought, like, I don't know if that went well. I was like, all right, like, do better. Like, well, we get another scene tomorrow. Like,
Exactly.
that's fine.
Exactly.
And I just like, it's like a
That's
switch in me is just like,
huge.
I just don't even like have it in me.
Yes.
But getting to like, there's so many moments on that where it was like pinch me moments of like my personal growth. Like,
Yes.
whoa, like
You can really see it.
part of what's helped me too is like, for so long, this like self-attacking thing of like, why am I the fucked up one? To like learn, like, how many times do I have to be shown? Everyone deals with these shame voices. They're different for everyone. The experience is different, but we all have it. And some people get lucky and they look a little bit like they got it together. And some periods of time they probably do, but also
Yes.
like, so do you.
Yeah. I feel like this is one of the things that when we met, we were like immediately going deep on like, okay, we see life the same way and just like, let's fucking talk about it, which is what I want to do on this podcast. I mean,
Yes.
it's funny. There was a producer I was working with who was super helpful when I was like, I think I want to do a podcast. I don't know anything about that. I just listened to a million of them. And so she was really helpful and she referred to it as like, okay, I kind of see what you want to do. Like if you want it to be like a little inside Hollywood, but also like in the casual therapy space. And I was like, yes. Casual therapy. That's like just me on a Tuesday.
It's just like a way of like getting to like kind of become a therapist without like having to go back.
I mean, I was a psych major.
Were you?
Definitely did. Yes, I was a psych major in college. The stupid joke I always make is it really prepared me for having a career in Hollywood and dealing with all the lunatics in this town. No, I was a psych major. I'm fascinated by all this. I really am not, no hyperbole. Brene Brown is like my queen of all things because of the bravery and in putting a name to vulnerability.
Yeah.
Which is the only way you can truly connect with people. And what is life about if not connection?
Yeah.
So I digress and we could make this 9 hours, but I want to be respectful of your time. Tell me a little more about the movie. And so after those guys did Final Destination 5, whatever one that just came out that was a huge hit, and congrats to them.
Bloodlines.
Yes, thank you. They then were like, no, we're making this movie.
Yes.
So you get the call.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
are you like, really?
Yeah, no, I was like so surprised that like it came back around. And this is the kind of like looking back and you're like, oh wow, like little did you know.
Yeah.
Because what I love about Adam and Zach, the way that they work is very like collaborative and like everything is moldable. They are not like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
And so the script that we were going to be shooting in 2023 that then got shelved, I thought that's what we were going to shoot when we came back to, but they had been rewriting it the whole time.
Oh, I love that.
And so when they finally like, you know, I signed on and then like they send me the script and I was like, yeah, I'll just read like the new rewrites. Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And it went from being this kind of like ensemble movie to me being the lead with like my daughter. Like it's like a two-hander. And but what they wrote about her and her journey and what her arc was everything thematically I had been going through the past however many years. And in a way where I'm like, then I got scared. I was like, oh, like
in a can I do this way?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Like, and what I
like
love,
it's too close to the bone.
No, not too. Well, I love it too close to the bone, but just like this character is very big shoes to fill. Like,
got it.
Very, very.
Am I up to this?
Can I do this? Am I good enough for this?
Oh, Here she
And
is again.
I
Yes,
know,
totally.
and I got really, like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god, and I'm gonna have to, like,
Yeah.
rise up for this one,"
Yeah.
and was really scared, was in the safest of hands, like, Adam and Zach, like, just they're
And that you had a history with them. I love ugh,
that they
I
wrote
love
this for
this.
me, like,
Yeah.
I was just like, "What?" And that they trusted me,
Yep.
and
Yep.
that they were like,
They
"We
knew
want."
you could do it.
Yeah, and I felt that from them, and it was just kind of like, they're incredible, like, there's
I
n
know, I don't know them at all, but I'm so happy
you
for
would
them, like, when the
love
good guys win. It's awesome.
so great, but yeah, it was for the hair part, it really was that it wasn't scripted, and
Oh, it wasn't?
no.
Wait, so did you come up with this?
Yeah.
And then were you like, "Wait, so now I have to shave my head?"
It was,
Did you have regrets?
no, it
Okay,
was, like, so I'm terrified of doing this role.
sure.
We're starting the prep. I'm like doing the prep and I'm like freaking out because I still have not connected with this character. And like for me, like I need to feel this like
Yeah.
connection with the character. It's like unnameable, but like I just know when that thing clicks in.
Yes.
And it was not happening. And I was like freaking out.
Yep.
Two days before we were doing the camera tests, and like basically 4 days before we started shooting. And it was like her name's Mary, the character. And
Mhm.
it was like Mary entered the room and she was like, if you want to do this, you better shave your head. And it was just like
That's
she was like,
intense in the best
if
way.
you want
Wow.
if you want to do justice to me, like you got to step the fuck up. That
Mhm,
but if you
mhm.
see when you see the movie, it'll make sense
Oh, I
why that
can't
was her
fucking wait.
hair. And so I sat with it for a day because I really
Smart.
wanted to make sure that doing it was not a sneaky ego.
Yes. Oh,
And that's the work.
this is I mean, I just
Like, it's
I
just
might
like
cry. I'm so proud of you. Go.
but like if I was scared to do it, I wasn't, because if I was just doing it for myself, I would have been scared.
Yes.
But because it was like truly coming from like Mary
Mary.
herself.
Well, it was so aligned with the character and
So
so aligned with your purpose.
it was coming like
That's
to
the
do
best.
it for her, basically.
Yes.
And
For
it
Mary.
really, like, now looking back, I'm like, I can't even imagine how I would have done it had I not. I mean, the whole thing was just, like I said, just a life-changing experience. Not, yes, like the work I did and like the creative process and all of that, but more so, it felt like a real personal arrival moment of like all the work. And
Yes.
about that kind of thing of like, we were supposed to shoot in 2023 and ended up doing it here, is like, I wasn't ready for this. Even if that was the role that they had written back then, like
Yeah.
I was not ready for it then. And what I went through in those 2 years was like all like the perfect storm to bring into
Yes, it was
this.
all leading to this.
Dustin always reminds me of this, and this is why that man give him all the awards. But like he pointed out to me halfway through this journey of like, you started this journey because you didn't like how you were showing up on set and how
Yes.
you were showing up in life. And like that's the arrival moment on that set, was like I was finally
Oof.
showing up as the me that I couldn't name how I wanted to be, but like there was like almost like this like the ghost of the future me is visiting me, being like, this is who you are, this is what you can become, but like
Yes.
you can't
This
just
is the possibility. Obviously, you have turned such a massive corner here.
yeah.
I can't wait to see this movie. I'm so happy for you.
But
as your
even that,
friend,
I
but
have to even like preface this, because this is for me, this isn't for everyone, but for me,
Yeah.
it's just like, who
like the
there's
final
no
result's not the thing.
attachment to that. Like, and I genuinely mean that,
Yeah.
because it's just like,
I can tell.
what was important to me was the experience of that.
Totally.
No one can take that away from me.
That
No one can take that.
100%.
As we know, releases, when they even happen, like how many people see it, how they respond to it. People can
Yes.
fucking
What the
tear this
critics
thing
feel.
apart
Yeah.
and like think I was like terrible in it. No one can take away
Yeah.
the experience that I had, and I don't have an attachment
Yes.
to how that is received, because the minute I do, then I've outsourced
Yes.
all of
Yes. It's funny. That is a perfect segue to the last topic I want to get to before we do last looks, which is the movie that we worked on together last year.
Yes.
And I
Which was sorry, I'll toot your horn for a second for the audience. Talk about an arrival moment. Like watching you, producers can wear many different hats, very like behind the scenes and like and in the trenches. And different producers do different things. But
Yes.
getting to see you in action on that, I was just the proudest friend ever watching you because
Thank you.
one, you were like just crushing it, but also I could see like you in your full purpose.
Yeah, like
and
talk about
coming.
aligned.
It was beautiful. It was
you.
so beautiful to see.
It
like
was the happiest experience of my life. I mean, as you know, we shot the movie in Portland. I am obsessed with Portland to a degree that is unhealthy. And I think it is partially because Portland is such a special city, but it is also because Adam, the co-writer and director of the movie, Adam Steekeel, we'd been trying to get that movie made for 4 years at that point. And so it was a true labor of love. I mean, it is a female friendship comedy with pregnancy in it. So I joke that it's a labor of love, but it really is. And it was like, it's finally happening. It was happening exactly as we wanted it to. It was with like this incredible cast: Karen Gillan, Zoe Chow, Max Greenfield, Sam Richardson,
Stellar
Mary
cast.
Steenburgen, KJ Appa, you, Lily Singh, Ed Begley Jr. Don't get me started. I could go on and on. The amazing Janice Meeting. Like, there's just Luke McFarlane. I'm going to keep going. Okay. Just tooting the let's have kids horn, because at some point this movie is going to come out and everyone will see the magic. I will also weave in my love of Taylor Swift here. She had released the Tortured Poets department like 3 weeks into me arriving in Portland, 2 weeks in, something like that. And so that was the soundtrack to me being in Portland. So it all conflated to be like the greatest experience that I also still will just sometimes I'll put on that album and relive. But so back to, I call you and I was like, it's quite a small part. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to come up. And you knew Adam because you guys had done a pilot.
Yep.
And okay, in the smallest world of all time, Nick Kocher, who's also in the movie, who's an incredible writer, director, actor,
Genius
just like
talent.
the most. I was just gonna say, like, it's hard to even define.
His talent
the
is
great
like
Nick
insane.
Kocher.
Like it's just.
And he is married to Karen Gillan. So you and Nick had done a pilot that Steekeel had written many moons ago.
Yes.
And then you and Nick reconnected up in Portland, which was amazing too.
Yes.
And in just the smallest of worlds, I remember one of the scenes, because I have this picture, you, Karen and Zoe, Jana, and Lily.
Yes.
And Dustin was on Rutherford Falls with Jana. So again,
Worlds
the world
colliding.
is, I mean, and it was like the greatest vibes ever on that set. I was
Yes.
never so proud. So having said that, the movie's not out yet. We don't know when it's going to be released.
TBD, guys.
TBD. Would love to know. But we made it as a love letter to many things, but one of them is female friendship.
Yes.
And Adam co-wrote the script with his wife, Ellie. There's a strong female viewpoint.
Yes.
But it's also like, dudes love it.
And by the way, when you were like, "Oh, can you do me this favor?" I'm like, "Oh, my first job in 3 years." Yes.
I don't know if I knew if I had that.
You broke
context at the time. I broke the seal.
broke the seal. It was a godsend. Like,
And you
it meant
really-
so much to me. Like, it really, like, it was.
This is the vibes of that movie. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I've listened to a million podcasts, never hosted one before, wanted to have something that was a bit framing. And I was playing around with things and it was feeling very like just square peg in a round hole. Like, this feels forced, this feels sweaty, let's not. And so I came up with what is a really fun thing I want to do at the end called Last Looks.
Okay.
And so Last Looks is a term used during production that is a final check of the actors before we start shooting. Hair and makeup comes in, wardrobe. So it's Last Looks. I like the alliteration of it. So as a lover of pop culture and wanting to celebrate that, as you can see from all of the accoutrement here, and I feel like especially these days, more than ever, it's important for us to connect to great art and celebrate that and also recommend it to each other. as we'll talk about this on some future podcast, I'm sure, and I talked about it on someone else's podcast once, like the final sort of push of me leaving Philadelphia and like, can I do this? Can I like work in the entertainment industry? I don't know. Was me seeing the Royal Tenenbaums. Gwyneth Paltrow getting off the bus and everything gets really quiet and the Nico song comes
Oh.
on. And I mean, chills still 23 plus years later. Okay. So great art in
Mhm.
whatever form is healing to us.
Yes.
And goddamn, could we use some healing right
Yeah,
now?
we-
So, in a fun rapid fire way, here's what I want to do with last looks. But it's 4 categories: movies, music, books, TV show. First, what is your favorite movie of all time?
So, Control
Mhm.
by Anton Corbijn,
Mm-hmm.
Joy Division, Sam Riley, Samantha Morton. That movie was recommended to me by a director I was working with, when he was just him telling me to watch that movie was opening a door to like a whole other world of acting that I didn't even know existed. Like I didn't know you could do that. And
That's amazing.
that
That's so
this
inspiring.
I know that this director was telling me like burst ears,
Mhm.
that like you like it was his he planted a seed.
Yeah.
And it didn't hit at first, but it had such a profound effect on me. So that
I
was
love that.
yeah.
Okay. Music. If you were stranded on a desert island,
Mhm.
what 2 albums do you have with you to help maintain your sanity until you're rescued?
I have 2 albums that carried me through the darkest of the dark during the
Ugh,
pandemic and like
yes.
all of my career falling away. My tower moment.
Okay.
And that is so Fred Again, Actual Life,
Mhm.
the Red album.
Mhm.
That was the first time I had heard Fred Again, and like if you haven't heard it, you've got to listen to it front to back. He takes like sound bites and sound clips from like his personal life, like people on the
Amazing.
subway and like conversations, but then he like samples people's like spoken word and like makes these like epic songs. It's just
Wow.
like his actual life. But
Yeah.
like you feel like when I listened to that for the first time, it's like I connected to just what it meant to be like a human being, flaws and all, and like the highs and lows, and like that's actually what it's all about is like
Yes.
all of that, like the pain, the laughter, the joy, like like that album carried me through.
Yes.
The other album that carried me through, Kendrick
I was gonna say, you
Lamar,
have to say
Mr.
it.
Morale and the
Yes.
Big Steppers, like that album,
Yes.
I like, oh my God, what a genius. He only did like one interview for that album. The piece on him, that interview was just like, it also changes how you listen to the album and like what he like that it's his
Yeah.
therapy
Yes.
is in that album and like
Yes.
it spoke to me and also like healed me and like gave me permission and
Totally.
like it was just everything.
What I was really wanting and hoping this podcast would be is exactly what Kendrick's album
Mm,
gave to you, right?
mm.
Like, you're not alone. I think, I would say when I would hop on Zooms during the pandemic, I would like hop on, hi, I'm Becky Sloviter. It's really nice to meet you. I'm really struggling. How are you? And I made some of my closest friends that way. The only comfort is the commiseration. And
Yeah.
I hate that commiseration, like that the root word of that is misery, but I say it just to say like connection and what
Mhm.
you got from that album, especially. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And that's like the power of art.
Exactly. What's your favorite book of all time? Or one that you've read lately that has really stayed with you?
Another one for during this time that
Yes.
I think every woman or anyone who identifies as female like should read, and it's Women Who Run with Wolves.
Oh,
Do you not know this?
how do I not know this?
I don't.
I'm ordering
Clarissa
immediately.
Pinkola Estes wrote it. It starts with like each part starts with kind of like a folklore tale
Oh,
that have been
wow.
passed down for generations. And then she breaks down like the meaning of all that very in like Jungian terms and like it has its own kind of spirit and energy that like it changed me. It names like the female experience in a patriarchal world.
Can't
And-
relate.
But also like the power of
Yes.
being a woman and like connecting with that. And it's like you can feel the matriarch lineage through that this book
Yes.
in a way where my therapist told me to read it, or, suggested it when I first started working with her in 2017. And I came back to it in 2020 and I devoured that book. And my favorite moment
awesome.
with it was I went on like a solo trip for my birthday to Palm Desert, and was staying at like this hotel, and I was by myself, like in my bathing suit reading my Women Who Run with Wolves, and like this guy like comes up and is like hitting on me. And then
Be
he's like asking me about like, what are you reading?
Let me tell you, bro.
I told him, and it was just this kind of like slow, like
Let me
Yeah.
back out of here.
all right, so not what I was looking for.
So this isn't gonna happen. Also, I'm married. Bye. Okay, last thing. What show are you watching that you would recommend, or are you loving lately? And it doesn't have to be a current one.
I'm gonna name 2 shows that during the pandemic they were lost in some way, and there's 2 female actresses in these shows that just like I'm like they should have won all of the awards. Station 11,
Oh my God, yes.
Mackenzie Davis.
Oh my God.
Wow,
Get out of here.
like
No notes.
incredible.
It's perfect.
And the other one, I think you know this lady. I think because you've talked to her about her before. I'm like, oh my God, you know her, Mrs. Davis with Betty Gilpin.
Yes. Betty
That
Gilpin,
show was
the greatest.
insane. And Jake McDormand,
Jake McDormand,
who, like,
yes,
also
love.
was incredible in that. And that show,
I think it was just sometimes the timing, but I agree with you. I loved that show. Both these are amazing recommendations.
yes. But I also will say, like, oh, what are you watching right now? I'm watching Bravo.
All Bravo all the
Housewives of
time.
any zip code. I was deep in Love Island, Below Deck Med. I'm definitely gonna do Bachelor in Paradise next.
I mean, you're not an animal,
I mean,
obviously.
but I like listen. I don't
We
have.
can hold space for both.
I don't drink alcohol. I don't do drugs. I can't even numb out on an eating disorder anymore.
Thank you, Andy Cohen.
Yes.
We'll just say that.
No, yeah, I mean, like, thank you, because I need
Yes.
something.
Yes, you need
And
the release. Or
Bravo
the
has
relief or the-
delivered all of
I
it for
feel you
me.
so deeply.
So just to
love
like
it.
have some balance in there. It's just like
so true. I used to, this is a million years ago. Do you remember it was on VH1, I want to say it was called Rock of Love. We would watch that on Sunday night, and then we would watch Charlie Rose. And I was like, okay, great. We have a good balance here, and this is who we are. as
culture
people.
and like
Yeah, and
you know.
here for the right reasons. I love you, Crew.
I love
Thank
you too.
so much for
You
doing
crushed
this.
it.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. I don't know how to end a podcast, so I'm just gonna get up and give you
I love that.
I love you so much. General Meeting with Becky Sloviter is hosted and executive produced by me, Becky Sloviter. Our editor is Jay Rothman. Our audio engineer is Hector Fernandez. Our director of photography is Dylan Mortensen. Our tech producer is Griffin Davis. Our theme song is by Jay Rothman. Special thanks to Jocelyn Falk, Megan Monaco Gilwitt, and Haley Rosenthal. And most importantly, go Birds.